If there's one piece of information I can give the viewers is exactly that. Cheap, a lot of the times, becomes expensive down the road. And we see it all the time.
Hey guys, Yotam, CFO of Royal Construction.
And Isaac, VP at Royal Construction. Welcome again to Beyond the Build. And today we are going to talk about the real costs of building ADUs. We got a lot of comments from our previous videos that people are not sure if the costs are right or if it's real or what's their ROI. So we're going to talk about a little bit today about what are the real costs and expectations when you approach a project like this. So Yotam is, as he said, the CFO, so he has all the numbers. I will start by saying, let's break it down because we have several types of ADUs constructions that you can do. Number one is garage conversion. You can convert your garage to an ADU. So we're going to talk about the pricing for that because you many times have the box already. The garage is there, right? But it is come with a few surprises. So we're going to talk about garage conversion. Then we're going to talk about an ADU that is an extension to the house. And then we have one of the walls. Does that help us save some money? And then we're going to talk about the most common one, which is called a DADU, or how some clients like to call it DADU. That's not how you call it, DADU. And that's when we are building ADU from scratch that is not attached to anything in the house. And then we also need to take consideration of running electrical and sewage and everything we need. So the further it is away from the sources, it can affect your pricing. So let's start with the easiest one, garage conversion.
Perfect. So as you say, really, garage conversion will most of the time will be cheaper in the price. Now, it's most of the time because eventually it's a structural that exists. And if someone have, let's say, garage from 100 years ago, there is a big possibility that he will need to do extra things that in the end, the cost could be closer to actually ADU, detached ADU. Now, basically with a garage conversion, most of the time, they will have already 3 walls with footing, with foundation, which is lower the cost. Because when you build brand new ADU, you need to do brand new foundation.
Yeah.
Now, for him, usually he will have 3 walls with the existing footing, and there is one wall where is the garage door that there you will need to do brand new footing. Now, regarding the framing, sometimes you can work with that. Sometimes you just need to adjust it to upgrade that. And sometimes you will need to remove it and rebuild. The cost for a garage conversion, let's say it's a standard
two-car garage, which is around 400 square feet.
400 square around. The cost will be in general for construction starting from $350 per square. Okay, which is mean around
120.
Around 120. This is what it will start. We, for example, as a design build company, sometimes we can include the cost of the architect and engineer. Again, depend what we're doing. Depend if we are doing vaulted ceiling, for example, it's required
a reframing of the roofing. We need the engineering to be more
expensive engineering, which is mean it will be a little bit more. Sometimes it's very far, as you say, from the street, and an ADU, garage conversion, or any other ADU need a separate sewer line to the street.
We have our base cost, which is, let's say, around $120,000, assuming, again, for our viewers, that
perfect condition.
So a lot of the times I had in a scenario right now with one of my projects, it looks like it had footings across all 3 walls. And then when we came to dig, the footing was only a 1 inch. So it wasn't footing at all. The entire cost was addition $15,000 to correct the footings and then pour proper foundation across the entire structure. Ways to avoid it. For our viewers, there's some ways to avoid it is have the professionals come in, pay something up front, and have them actually dig. So if you're not sure you have proper foundation, pay several hundreds of dollars, have a professional come, they'll cut like a 1 foot on both sides and see the footing, the existing footing. It doesn't eliminate the problem 100%, because they're not going to dig everything out. The structure will collapse.
Correct.
But they'll dig. So this is one thing to be
Yes.
attentive
The
for.
footing.
Number two, as you said, the design and the layout. The crazier you go with the design and the layout,
Yeah.
vaulted ceiling. I'm doing a garage conversion. She wanted high soffits and lowered floor and up lighting,
Right.
and then
Many walls that is glass, many sliders.
exactly. So openings. And when it comes to framing, most places or most cities today use 2x6s. So if you have anything less than 2x6, you're probably going to need to either sister beam, which means taking another beam and attaching it to an existing beam, or demo walls and rebuild this. So for you guys who want to be very specific, and this is why it's important to speak to a professional, is it starts at around $120,000 with perfect conditions. And then from there, whatever surprises you might have is going to take the price up. And then also, a lot of people are asking this, also finished materials.
Correct.
And that's across all the ADUs.
Yes.
Finished materials, what is the range for, as most of my clients say, I want good quality at a good price. So if you're talking good quality at good price, what's the range?
So I could say that from my experience regarding finished material prices, finished material for a garage conversion will start from $15,000.
Yeah.
Will start from, and this will give you kind of standard, basic
Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon, kind of.
For Lowe's, I believe that you can even start maybe around 13, 12.
Okay.
13, 12. 15, it's kind of the still basic, but not necessarily the lowest Home Depot quality. So 15,000.
And just for our viewers, Home Depot also have high quality.
Correct.
But they also offer sometimes the cheapest option for you to get remodel done. But Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon, Wayfair also have high-end lines.
Correct.
So make sure you look at it when you're looking at the...
Yes. So
Wow.
it will start, as we say, like let's say 12 will be the lowest, and usually it will not be the best quality.
Yeah.
15, you will start to have kind of a standard...
What we call builder grade, like quality.
For investment, that it's fit for investment. And let's say it's for your family, and you want like to spoil them a little bit more and to make it the things a little bit nicer. The budget will need to start from $20,000. And
there is no limit.
There is no limit.
Yeah.
There
We're
is
not
no
talking about
limit
high-end.
because, and what will determine mostly the price will be the cabinets, the kitchen cabinets,
And the
because you can do, and the countertop, because you can do fully custom-made cabinets from a carpenter handmade, that only that will cost $20,000 and will eat all your costs. So if we are summarized until now, so let's say you are in the perfect condition for the garage conversion, it's close to the street, so you don't need to run. So for example, I have example with a client that have a garage in amazing condition because the previous owner have very expensive cars. So he decided to make extra on the foundation. So actually he had 4 walls with footing. Even the wall of the garage
door had a footing, so he saved money on the footing.
The slab was really big, and also the garage was in the back, but actually the sewer went to the back. So we actually needed to connect with less than 10.
It was a short connection.
Yes. So for her, it's the basic. It was around 120. And after that, the plans, she wanted vaulted ceiling. So the plans actually cost more. So usually plans for garage conversion can start all the way from 8 and can range depending on what we're doing. If you want also design service, if you want a designer to go with you to showrooms, and then the finished material that can start from 15. So
in a perfect world, the full garage conversion will cost you anywhere from $135, $140 to kind of like $150, $160. Should
and
be
this is in good
with some upgrades, with good quality finished materials, good plans, and a good construction company that will build the product for you.
Correct. And another example that I have, a client that we started the garage, and obviously we didn't know before. We assumed that we need to do one wall with footing. But when we started the construction, we realized that she doesn't have any footing. In all 4 walls, there is no footing, and the slab is not good. And basically, we needed to go back to the engineering,
And then
we needed and the way to do that, because you can't demo it all because then it will collapse, you need to secure 2 walls, and then basically you dig
Smaller
portion, and you pour the cement in 2 walls, and then the other opposite 2 walls. And for example, for garage like that, you actually need to do brand new foundation, brand new slab, and almost brand new framing. So the cost could be, with finished material, closer even to the 200.
Yeah. And then another tip to our viewers, like if you have the original plans of the house, that can be very helpful. A lot of the times, if it's not a 1910 or a 1912 house, a lot of the times, if you have those plans, that will help the professional teams know, okay, what type of foundation did they pour in the garage, which is 99% of the surprises are either foundation, that it doesn't exist, the footing that just doesn't exist, electrical, that the main house cannot carry the weight of a sub panel, and then you need to upgrade the panel in the main house that you didn't even include in your ADU, and framing as well. Yeah, and those are the 3 things. So that gave us a range. Let's go to the next one. I think an attached ADU or a detached ADU, more or less the cost is the same, because even though we have 1 wall, it doesn't really save us much. It can save thousands of dollars, but it can also create different types of issues, because now we need to touch an existing house. What would be the price of a DADU or an extension ADU? If I want to build, of course, the bigger you go, the prices will change. But if I want to build, usually most of them are building between, the smaller ones are 400 to 600 square feet.
Right.
And we have people who maximize that to 1,200 square feet.
Yes.
So what will be the price per square foot? Okay. What are the surprises when you're building a detached one? And just kind of give our viewers, try to give them a range that is realistic to expect.
Perfect. So with the small sizes, so the reason that, for example, we are, and many of the contractors start in very similar prices. No one inventing the wheels, of course. So as we say in the garage conversion, the cost will start at $350 per square. And this is assuming that we can use 3 walls of the foundation and the framing. With an ADU that you need to do everything from scratch, the cost for the small sizes will start from $400 per square.
And why is that? Let's talk about that.
You need to do brand new foundation and brand new framing. When it's smaller, you basically, a lot of the cost will be the structure.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because that's a great example. We have an ADU that is 300 and how much square feet?
There's 60, 30.
330 square foot. And the price per square foot was higher because there are some costs that are the same. So when you bring a truck for cement, you are paying for the truck whether you're using half the cement or not.
When you do the plans for ADU that is 330 or 600 or 700,
more or less the same. Exactly. It's not going to cost double. It's not going to be half the price. So for those viewers who are looking to be, I can fit a small 350 square feet ADU, just take into consideration prices are going to be higher than the average market pricing, because a lot of the overhead cost is now split to a smaller amount of square footage rather than, that's why if you're doing 1,000 square feet ADU, you can save not half, but you can save a certain percentage from that, because you're using the overhead now that is the same, is now splitting over several hundreds of square footage.
Yep.
Okay, so we said 350 to 400.
So 400, so when you are in the small sizes, let's say 400, like 350 square, even if, let's say you build a deal with 350 square, it will be even higher.
Yeah, 400 or even 450.
450, 500, because it's really small and the cost anyway will be high. 400 to 600 will start from the area of $400 per square. And as we say, depend on the distance from the sewer, electric, plumbing. Also, another thing that we need to take on consideration is water, because sometimes in the old houses,
the pipe is too small.
The pipe is too small, and when you do an ADU, you want enough pressure, so it is recommended to
upgrade even for the main house.
Exactly.
We work in several branches across several states, and we can see the prices change also from where you live, because sometimes labor is higher, and also materials. In some places, materials cost more, same material, or it costs more. So, for example, the average in Northern California for an ADU, it starts at around $450, and it can get all the way up to $600-700 a square.
A small one.
even the regular one in the Northern California, prices per square foot are higher because labor there is different than Southern California, where you can really find around $350 to $400 a square. A rule of thumb, everywhere you go, the more square footage you add, the price per square foot goes down. But the starting point, and in Washington, for example, you can even find it around $350 a square to start with.
Nice.
Where in Southern California, we're looking at closer to 400, and where in Northern California, it starts at 400 and it averages around 500 to 550 for the same structure. Then this is one thing that you need to check. A lot of our clients go on Google, and then they're like, how much should my ADU cost? And you can see, oh, $220 a square. And then they're starting getting these proposals, 400 and 500.
Yes.
And then it just doesn't align with the reality. And that's where a lot of people are basically screwed financially, because they're like, oh, I have $200,000 to build it. And then they realize when the builds start that it's going to cost them closer to $350.
Correct. And there is because I'm when I'm going to a clients and I share with them our prices and I will just like summarize that. So for ADU,
New construction,
detached or not detached, basically we start in around $400 per square for the small ones. 600 square and above, you can already sometimes drop to $350 per square.
And $375. It really depends.
$375, and in the biggest one, like 1,200, 1,000 square, you can even sometimes include in that the cost for the engineer, the architect, or even sometimes if it's a basic, you can even include some basic finished material in the cost. So it is really depend. Every situation is different, but as much as you build bigger, yes, you can save a little bit more from the cost.
Okay, so if we're building above 1,000 square feet, it's safe to say that we're going to be at around anywhere from like $350 to $375 on average. So 1,000 square feet should cost you between $350,000 to $375,000. However, just remember, the bigger you go, the more finished materials you have. Because if you're doing a 1,200 square feet, this is not a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. No, this is a 2 bedroom or 2 bathroom, two or 3 bedrooms with 2 or 2.5
Bigger kitchen,
bathrooms, a kitchen with a large island, more flooring, more windows, stairs, railings. It really goes into the world of 1,200 square feet is a house. Okay, it's not like you will find homes and properties today that are 1,200 square feet where you buy the lot and a house that is 1,200 square feet. So you're no longer building this small, nice 1-bedroom ADU. So take that into consideration, because that's more roofing, that's more windows, that's more doors, more rooms, flooring, more lights, more tile, larger kitchen. That means more cabinets, larger
countertops. Is like you need 3 systems,
a larger HVAC system. So just take into consideration. So if we need to give a rule of thumb, it does come out to approximately the same price per square footage, because you're saving on the construction side, but you are investing more on the finish side. So it's safe to say that 1,000 square feet ADU with finished materials, with everything, would cost between $400,000 to $420,000. I want to say, kind of like,
you could say yes, $420 if you want like more higher end finished material, and if you're staying $400, yes, you can have something with good quality. You can do it a little bit less, but then you need to go to very basic finish.
And if you're building a small one of 400 to 600 square feet, you're probably looking at,
so if you're $400 per square feet, will be at minimum, if let's say take 400, so minimum 160 to start, which is $400 per square,
plus
the finished material, which let's say from the basic you want $15,000, so you are at $175.
So it's safe to say around 180. And if you're treating yourself, around $200,000.
Correct.
Now, I get this question all the time, but I got a proposal for garage conversion for $60,000.
Okay.
How are you charging $120,000? And I checked on Google, and Google says, or ChatGPT, everybody uses ChatGPT as Google today, right? So I used ChatGPT, and he told me, yes, it should cost me between 60 to 70. How is it costing me $120? Where's the difference?
So if you look on garage conversion, is the easiest, because a lot of people do that.
Even the ADU.
The ADU. So I'm getting it a lot. I got, I think a couple of days ago, someone wanted to build, I think it was 450 square feet ADU, and she assumed that it will cost 80,000 or 90,000. So a lot of the information that you have on Google and ChatGPT really say those things. So one option that maybe it's information from 3 years ago, that really the cost was actually close to that, because if you would build 3 or 4 years ago, your cost would...
Especially pre-COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID mainly, the cost would be much, much lower. Other option is there is homeowner that build in themselves. So basically what they do, they bring in hire guys with daily rate, like bringing guys at, I don't know, $250 per day, 300.
They do a lot of work themselves.
And
DIY.
And they doing also work themselves. They go into a lumber place, buying lumber. They need to have knowledge, of course. They submit themselves to the city. They pay themselves the permit, and they do all. They install in the mini split themselves. It's possible, and then really they can do garage conversion for $80,000. It is possible.
But we do see people getting proposals, right? Because we go into the client's house and we send them our prices, and our prices are very upfront, so it's very clear to see more or less how it's going to cost. And we see a lot of times that we are at $350 or $400 a square, and then the client has a proposal for $250. How is that possible?
Okay, so I also look on those proposal, and there is many ways. One of them that some of the contractors have hidden costs. So they are showing lower price, but they are giving you limitations. For example, and homeowner don't know to read it. They say, okay, this price is depend on that the sewer is up to 20 feet from the ADU. Because obviously, in order to know exactly where you connect to the sewer, you need to run a camera. And you need to see exactly where it's going to land. So yes, if it's up to 20 feet, they include it. If the electric box is up to 20 feet, if the water line is up to 20 feet, but then they start in the project and say, it's 100 feet. I need to charge you more for this. I need to charge you more for this.
Yeah.
Dumping fee, it's not included. Inspection, every time that inspection, we need extra of $300 to sit on that, or unless you want. So there is a lot of hidden cost, and a lot of contractors do that. Actually, especially I feel like in LA area, because the competition is
very high,
so crazy that homeowners will see, I don't know, contractors like us that will give them $350, $400 per square, and then they will see someone in $90,000 for garage conversion, and they will
exactly, and then
you got to say no on that.
Exactly, and then this is like, if there's a one piece of information I can give the viewers is exactly that. Cheap a lot of the times becomes expensive down the road, and we see it all the time, because it's hard to say yes to 120 when you think you're getting the exact same thing for $90,000. Okay, nobody just have $30,000 laying around that he's just like, oh, I'll give it to you because I like you. You're very nice. Your Instagram is nice. I'll give you the extra $30,000. It comes with, one, a lot of hidden fees, like you said. There are a lot of limitations. Honestly, you need to do your due diligence. That's the only thing that I can give you right now. You need to sit down and actually read the contract and see what you're getting, and ask the hard questions, and find a contractor like us and come to us and say like, hey, I got this proposal from this contractor. What am I not seeing right? Because we know the true cost. And when we know the true cost, and I've had clients before that didn't work with us, they went with another contractor, but we helped them read the contract and understand what they're getting, and be like, okay, ask him about this, ask about the sewer, ask about the existing electricity.
Yes.
And then you see that I've had a client right now, they got $40,000 less than our proposal. So as part of our service, I offered her like, okay, give me their contract, let's review everything together. And I gave her a list of questions that after she asked those questions and got the answer back, the difference was $5,000 between both proposals. But we told her that in advance, they would have hit her later with those amounts. So yeah, that's kind of like the biggest thing. And change orders. And that's kind of like the scariest part in our business.
Yeah.
Change orders. Since a homeowner doesn't understand construction, you can just come and start hitting them with change orders, like you said, even if it's not written clearly.
Correct.
Change orders is the homeowner biggest enemy, because you're roped in. I already started digging, I already did framing, I already did foundation. Now, okay, this wasn't included and this wasn't included, and all those things that contractors don't have to write it on the contract. Then they come and hit you with change orders, and then you see that the prices average out more or less the same.
Yes.
Now, how to know? A lot of our ADU clients are doing this because they want to rent it out. We also get that question a lot from our viewers. So wait, my ROI will be 30 years, 25 years. It's not worth it to build an ADU. How do you calculate when an ADU makes sense?
Perfect.
If you're doing cash or if you're doing finance, what's the process of understanding what's my true risk here? Am I burning money or am I making an investment?
So first of all, the first question that come towards this let's say it's investment and it's not for your mother or whatever. The first question is, are you want to make money from day one, or you are okay with an investment that will come back to you in a few years?
Okay.
This is the first question that usually I will ask the client. Let's go first of all.
I want to make money with day one.
You want to make money from day one. Great. So there is a lot of programs that, as long, of course, that you have a good credit score, good income, you didn't have a bankruptcy, or all the standard things. There is good programs that you can finance the actually all amount.
Okay, so the entire project. So if it's 160 or if it's 300,000, depends on what I'm building.
And of course, depend on your credit score, depend on your income, and we are doing it with a lot of clients. And this is great opportunity because, for example, I can tell you about myself. I like to make money from day one, and I'm okay with paying the extra interest rate. I'm okay with paying the fees. Of course, that if you compare cash price without the fees and everything. Let's take something easy, garage conversion. We say that this base cost start from 120. You have architect plans, you have engineer, you have finished material. Let's say it's 150. 150, usually this will be, by the way, the average of price for the audience. It will be usually 150. This is the average for full garage conversion from A to Z, including everything, architect, engineer, finished material, and all of those. So 150. One of the programs that we have, it's energy efficient program that it's need to be based on Title 24, which is the codes of how to build energy efficient. If you take 150, you can spread it for 20 years. The interest rate can be, let's say, 8.99. Again, it's depend. It can be sometimes 6.99. It can be 7.99. Sometimes it can be 12.99. Depend on the credit score and depend on the terms. The monthly payment, if it's 8.99 for 20 years, will be around $1,100 per month.
$1,100.
$1,100. Now, most of the places in LA to rent either one bedroom, because from garage conversion to two-car garage conversion, you can do either
a one bedroom or
small one bedroom or a nice studio. And usually it's depend, of course, when you live. You can rent it from $2,000 and above. It can be $1,800 if it's in a little bit less good areas. It can be $2,500, $2,600, and it can be even $3,000 if it's like areas
in the good areas,
like Venice Beach, Santa Monica.
Exactly. So we see it for a lot of our clients. So what they do is they actually get this. They finance everything from A to Z. What we usually recommend clients is that the plans pay cash if you have it, because then you can get it done a lot quicker, and then get the rest financed.
Correct.
And then your ROI is positive day one,
because you're paying $1,100, $1,200. $1,300 take it.
With insurance, with everything, like $1,300.
$1,300, and you're making minimum of $2,000 from day one. Sometimes those finances will get funded a little bit before the end. The monthly payment will be paid before, so you will have maybe 2 monthly payments before. So your down payment will be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and then you start to make money from day one. The good thing about those programs that it's fixed rate. You can pay it off whenever you want. There is no pre-penalty, and it will stay the same.
And let's talk about those, because this is like, I've just had it with a client of mine. So he took a larger loan, and the finance was equal the rent. Okay, so the finance cost him $2,000. He took around $230,000. It was $2,000, and he could rent it for around $22,000, which was almost a wash. So he asked me, should I do it? So question for you guys, would you do it? And how do we decide? So what we did was very, very simple. The monthly payment is fixed, like you said. So that $2,000 a month is going to stay $2,000 a month. The beautiful thing about rents, they go up. Okay, depends on where you are. You can check. But in California, anywhere from 3 to 10% depends if you're paying utilities or not. So those $2,000 or the $2,200 a month that the tenant is paying, if it goes up 5%, that's already in $100 a month. And then every year you accumulate that interest that at some point, even if you started at almost break even, then in a year or two, you'll be able to start making positive cash flow. So working with finance, I think all of our clients that work with finance are for two reasons. Either one, they don't have the cash, or two, they're investors and they understand how to move money. And they're like, okay, I'm not taking any major cash outs right now, and I can be positive cash flow from either day one or after a year, I can start being positive cash flow.
Correct. And another thing regarding the finance that today, and everybody know that the interest rate a little bit higher, because clients that we had 4 years ago, we could give them sometimes loan on
0.99,
199 things that like we never
they
heard
don't
about
exist anymore.
But the good thing about that when you are doing ADU garage conversion, your value of the house will go up. Will actually go up because you're adding living square footage of the house, which is mean that the value will go up and the high interest rate might stay like this. 2 more years, maybe in 3 years, they will drop a little bit. So what we are doing with our properties and a lot of our clients, they are doing cash out refi, because those loans you can pay it off whenever you want.
There's no payment penalty.
There is no
you can pay off the loan whenever you want.
Yeah. So let's say you got a loan for $899, and in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whenever the rates go down, you will cash out refi, pull some money because the value of the house went up, and pay them off this
line of credit,
and there is no pre-penalty.
Yeah.
So this is regarding that.
So what if I want to pay cash up front? I have $200,000 in my bank account. I want to start the ADU. I want to finish the ADU. I don't like loans.
Great.
I have a lot of clients from different religions, and they don't like loans. It's actually against some of their beliefs, and they have some business people or have cash that they want to invest in the house. So what's my return if I come with the $200,000? I put them on the property, and then what's my return?
It is depend on, of course, your area, where you live, what you buy, what you build in. But let's take a similar example. Let's take the garage conversion, right? Let's take garage conversion, and let's say, as we say, like let's say you're doing cash,
$150,000. I'm paying cash.
Yeah, usually it could be a little bit less because the finance sometimes have
fees.
Okay. So let's say 150, let's say 145 or whatever. And let's say at your area, you are renting for $2,200. So you do the calculation. How you calculate that? You take $2,200, you multiply in 12.
Which is around $25,000 a year.
Around $25,000 a year. And then basically you see how many years it will take you to recoup. In this case, is approximately 6 years. This is the calculation because 25 years, 4 years, it's $100,000 and another 225s. Yeah. So
and then the interest rate goes up, so it's cutting. So your return on investment on average will be around
a little bit less than 6 years.
5 to 7 years. Let's put it
in a case if the rent will not go up in the next 6 years. If you, let's say, will get all these 6 years the same rate, which it will not happen, then you will recoup in 6 years. If the rent will go up, which it will, you will probably recoup the investment in 5 years.
Yeah.
And again, it depends. As much as you do it more basic, it might also, you can, you drop the cost, but also sometimes you will drop the income, the rent.
Yeah, because I will say this, and this is kind of relevant for when you do big structures. If you're building 1,000 square feet ADU, you need to make sure you need to check your rental income in your zip code. Because I had a client who wanted to build this, even a house, wanted to build this monster of a structure, but the loan would have cost him more, or the investment. And that's where you truly can see, oh, my return on investment is going to be 20 years.
Yeah.
You need to be smart with calculating these parts and then partnering with someone who understands.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I have a client who built 800 square feet, 2 and 2.5, and the loan was around $4,000, $4,000 a month. And in his area, the rental is around $6,000. So he was positive cash flow from day one, and the rentals again. So you always need to calculate the size, the amount, the finishes, and the rental in your area to understand. And I will say this, a lot of the times, I don't know a lot of contractors that do this, but we try to do that as well. We check what is the maximum rent that we can get, and then we decide what we're going to build.
Yeah, because it is true, because sometimes people think if I necessarily build bigger, I will get more income, and sometimes there is a sweet spot, because sometimes in your area it will be worse for you to do studio. Sometimes 1 bedroom, sometimes 2 bedrooms, or sometimes 3 bedrooms. So it is really depend. I have some clients that actually for them it's the best to build 1,200 square feet ADU, and the investment will be the best. And there is some clients that wanted to build it, and I told them, guys, if you want positive cash flow from day one, maybe do 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
They actually will make more money. So everything is dependent. We need, you guys need to check it, and we can help you to check it as well.
And that's it. And to summarize, make sure, again, you do your due diligence. Prices in the market are more or less the same, but you can have surprises. And if you're not planning right for your investment, you might find yourself in a tight spot. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us. Thank you again. Thank you for your time. And thank you guys for joining us today for another episode of Beyond the Build.